Welcome to the good news for today. Brad Solomon here at Triumphant Park, Community Park, and welcome for joining us out here. A beautiful, beautiful landscape out here and a beautiful area.
Amen.
And I have with me Dennis Lundgren, a great friend.
Yeah,
good to have you with us, Dennis.
Good to be here, my brother.
Good thing. The sun is shining and it's just a beautiful day out here today. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you with us. And we just wanted to share some good news in this beautiful park today in Westlake, California, in the Ventura County and in the Canal Valley area. We just wanted to share some good news for today. Today, don't you think people need to hear some good news?
Amen.
In the midst of these days where there's been earthquakes happening in the Southland and fires happening and violence and riots and different things going on, I think people need to hear some good news, don't you think?
They sure do.
And so, Dennis, how has the good news affected your life? The good news for today, how has that affected your life?
Well, it's totally changed my life. I was living in the world, enjoying worldly things, having a good time doing what I wanted to do.
I understand that.
Amen. And it's just been such a total change and turnaround in my life. I enjoyed a lot of things in the world, the fast lane, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just worldly things, and my life was going really fast, and it was really going nowhere either. Really going nowhere. And through an accident I was involved in, it totally changed my life around and really got me back on the right track.
What was this accident that you were involved in?
Well, in 1974 I was in a plane crash in Skaneateles, New York, upstate New York. And I had my car packed, and I was going to start my brand new job. I was starting as an airline captain. And I was flying for this company, and I was giving this man an instruction every once in a while. And he asked me if I would do one more time to see when he did finish up my commercial license. I mean, his commercial license, I should say. So I said, well, I'll fly with you one more time, and I did. And
like a lesson, like instructing?
It was actually like a commercial flight test to evaluate him and see when he did finish up his license. So he took off about 1:30 in the afternoon and flew for about 20, 30 minutes. And I was giving him a series of maneuvers to perform to test him to see what his skills were and where he was, how close he was to take his commercial license. Well, during one of the maneuvers I was giving him, he froze in the controls.
My goodness.
And I couldn't, I observe a person when they're flying. I watch their eyes, their hands, their feet, what they're doing, where they're looking. And
being a pilot, you'd have that experience, a commercial airline pilot. Yeah, exactly.
So I was watching him, and when he wasn't responding to something I was asking him to do, I realized something was wrong. I looked at his eyes, and his eyes are just wide open, looking right straight ahead. And at that moment, I knew I had a problem. And I asked him, let me have the controls back. And wasn't responding. So I went for the controls myself. We have interconnecting controls where he has a set and I have a set, and they're both tied together. When I went to move the controls, I couldn't move them.
It's like he froze.
Totally frozen all the
basically.
controls. Amen.
Now, this was like a small private type plane.
It's
right?
a single-engine
Yeah.
airplane, a 4-passenger seat, and he's close as we are right now together.
Yeah.
So I went for the controls, and I couldn't move any of the controls. And I used to be able to press 275. I was strong, and I could not move any of the controls. So what I did do is I put my knees up on the control wheel, knees and my hands both to push the wheel forward, because at this point we were starting to slow down. The nose of the airplane was coming up and the airspeed was slowing down quite a bit, getting very critical on airspeed, and I couldn't get the controls back.
My goodness.
So I started hitting him in the throat, tried to hit him in the nose.
So you're trying to do everything you could.
I can't get him off the controls. I hit him in the hands. Now he also had one hand on the throttle. It's like a throttle in an airplane would be like a car accelerator, except you use a foot. And I was using he used the hand to control the power to the engine. I went to move the power on the engine full forward, and I couldn't touch the controls. I just could not move the controls at all.
My goodness.
As I'm doing this, I'm punching him in the face, I'm hitting him in the throat, trying to distract him. I'm talking, says, "Let me have the controls back, John. Let me have the controls back, John." Now, I'm not using his real name. It's not necessary to use a real name.
Right, I understand. Yeah, totally understand.
But, and we continued to fall out of the sky. We got we've flown about 60 miles an hour. The plane, as we call it, is stalling, which means there's no more lift in the wings. It's just mushing down out of the air. Now we're going into a heavy wooded area where there's a lot of trees and dense forest. Just before I went into the treetops, I finally talked him adding full power, and he added full power. But we crashed right into the trees itself.
My goodness.
And on the way down into the trees, the right wing hit a tree trunk, and it blew up.
My
and
goodness.
as it blew up, the flames just shot maybe about 20, 30 feet in the air. And as we continued down into this heavy, dense forest, I saw them about this big around, laying horizontally when I first saw it was about 10 feet ahead of the nose of the airplane, ahead of the propeller.
My goodness, almost like coming right at you.
Right at me. And it's heading right straight towards my head, about this level right here. Now the dash of the plane was about this level here. And as the trunk itself was coming towards me, it should have hit me right here in my chest, taking my head off.
Wow.
When I saw that tree trunk, I knew that I knew that I knew that I was dead.
I mean, you saw it right in front of you, coming right at you. And you're going, you said
60
approximately
miles,
60
about
miles
60
an
miles
hour.
an hour.
So
Amen.
you're thinking real fast. It's happening real fast.
Because I knew my life was over.
Wow.
And if I'd have died right then, I'd be in hell right now for all eternity. All eternity, because I was not into drugs or into booze. But I was doing things that was ungodly, that was not pleasing to God. And if I would have died, I'd be in hell right now today for all eternity. That's a long time, very long time. And I just thought real quickly, and I said, "Lord, another chance."
Wow.
And I couldn't duck out of the way to miss this tree trunk because the dash is about here, and I couldn't get out of the way, down far enough to get out of the way. So it would have hit me regardless of what I tried to do, even if I would have had the time to do that, and I didn't. So I just thought real quickly, "Lord, another chance." And the them just came up, missed the whole cockpit totally.
My goodness.
That was a miracle, because they should have hit me right here, taking my head off.
Physically, it should have come right
It should have
straight.
come right into the windshield, hit me right here in my chest, take my head off.
So it was, what happened was physically impossible.
Physically impossible.
So supernaturally, you avoided that tree trunk completely.
Amen.
Completely. Wow.
After I got out of the hospital, I went back to where the plane crash was, and I talked to the fireman. And I explained to them where we were and what happened. I said, "That trunk should have hit you in the head." I said, "I know that."
Even the authorities said
Amen.
that.
They even said the same thing.
Yeah.
But we continued on down into this. I just put my hands up in front of my head, because I knew I was dead. I mean, I was gone. And when I missed the tree trunk, a few seconds passed, and we hit the ground. We hit very hard in the ground, and we hit nose down. And the plane kind of twisted to the right just a little bit. There was only one door that was on my side, and the door flew open on my side over here. When we hit the ground, came against a tree trunk on the right-hand side.
Another tree trunk on the right-hand side, yeah.
And the trunk itself pushed in the front part of the wing, while this jagged metal was sticking right straight up. And the metal itself, where the wing was, is over here to my right, and all up here, all jagged, quite a ways.
Because the metal was bent from the impact.
Pushed straight up, and all jagged, split up.
Yeah.
And flames had come out of that part of the wingtip, affecting the wing there.
The wings, I believe, is where the gas tanks are, so that probably
correct.
caused the explosion and the flame.
Right. The fuel tank is right to my right, about maybe 3 feet from my right hand, where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah, my dad has a Piper Comanche, and I go flying with him, so I know a little bit about the.
Right.
It helps make this a little more real for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the front part of the wing itself was maybe about 3 feet ahead of where we're sitting, 3 to 4 feet. And when we hit the ground, my door came open, as I said before, and the flames were actually directly on top of me.
My goodness.
And I was actually blocking the flames from the gentleman sitting next to me, as close as we are right here. And my hands had burned so bad I had all the flesh burned off my hands. I couldn't use my hands to take my seatbelt off.
My goodness.
And
Couldn't
I
even
begged the man, yes,
do your seatbelt.
I couldn't use my hands. I saw my hands, but I couldn't use them. It just immobile, totally immobile.
Wow.
I had the flesh hanging off my hands because of the fires on my hands and my body. And I begged the man, please take my seatbelt off. This is as close as we are right now. I said, John, please take my seatbelt off, please. He said, no, I have to get out of here. I said, John, please help me take my seatbelt off. I can't take it off. He said, no, I have to get out of here. I said, John, please help me get my seatbelt off, will you, please? No, I have to get out of here. Well, I said, if you're going to get out, go out that side. Break the window out, go out that side, because there's no fire on that side. And he wasn't responding. He got up, he stepped on my legs, he jumped out of the airplane off my right-hand side, jumped out of the airplane, and hit the ground and walked up the hill. At this point, I was just totally consumed in the flames, just all around me, around my head. And well, it gave me enough presence of mind to hold my breath so I wouldn't burn my lungs out, and to keep my eyes closed so I wouldn't burn my eyes out, so I wouldn't be blind, hopefully, and be able to see to get out of the airplane.
You just felt to do that?
I just felt to do that.
Wow.
And then the Lord gave me an idea how to get my seatbelt off, and I put my arm through the seatbelt itself. I used one arm to push the lever up, and I worked it off finally. Well, as I worked my seatbelt off, I realized that I had to get out and walk through a forest. Well, I was a tenderfoot. And when we crashed into the ground, I lost my right shoe. It came off underneath the foot pedals. I said to myself, I have to get my foot pedal, my shoe out underneath the foot pedal there. I can't go in the forest without my shoe. So I started reaching down to get my shoe, and then realizing I'm still burning. I'm still burning. Get out of the airplane, right?
First things first, right?
That's right. I have to have my shoe. Just have to have my shoe. So with that, I said, okay, enough of forget the shoe, and I had to get out of the airplane. So I tried to pull myself up out of the airplane, but I had no strength. That's like my hand, I put it up and nothing happened. I had no leverage. I couldn't hold on to anything. So I stood up like this. I didn't have much strength in my body. I was very, very weak, and I had severe pain initially in the fire. Severe pain, hurt very badly. Then I became numb. I had no pain at that point. So I got up, and I rolled out of the airplane on the right-hand side. I had no strength to jump ahead of the airplane, to jump away from the fire and all this metal here, the jagged metal. So I just rolled right straight down.
Wow.
Now, as I rolled straight...
What about the jagged metal right there? How'd you get...
That's very correct. That's very real, too.
I was thinking, how'd you get past that?
I saw that, and I had no choice except just to roll. Now, I should have rolled and landed right on top of that jagged metal. But as I rolled, I was just picked up bodily and moved about 4 feet ahead of the wingtip, ahead of the wing, the front part of the wing.